We are live and boots on the ground from the William Brown Farewell Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, we're painting it red.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Wolfpack Nation? We are live here post-game Saturday night. NC State wins a thriller in Chapel Hill. This post-game live is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app. Use the code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Any NC State basketball ticketing needs, waste no more time. Get on over to Gametime. And guess what else, folks? We got a bowl game. If you need tickets for the upcoming bowl game, head on over to Gametime. Well, Kenton, it's Saturday night. You do anything on Saturday? Anything fun today?
I did the funnest thing there is. I did the funnest thing there is. Celebrated watching those bozos in Chapel Hill taking it. Celebrated a Wolfpack win on top of it. It's always good to see those guys lose, you know. It's always good. But seeing it come at the hands of a Wolfpack win, even better. By the way, Grayson, how long does it take to complete college on average here? What's
usually 4 calendar years.
4 calendar years. So you're telling me that the class of 25 has never seen a world where the Wolfpack have lost to those bozos in football? That clown show in football? Hey, listen, farewell, William, but come on back. We wish you had 20 more years. We wish you had. They should keep him on as a special consultant or something, don't you think? I think they need to keep him on. I'll take that deal. You'll take that deal. I think we should take that deal. You know, I'm just saying. He's a really good guy, Grayson. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. I'm going to tell you what. This Wolfpack team, you know, I can admit I was wrong. And I will say I was wrong about their ability to control the line of scrimmage. I don't know what it is about the last 4 games of the season with Wolfpack offensive lines where they like wake up and they're like, oh, we can push guys around. That's something we're legally allowed to do. Okay. But it happens every year towards the end of the year. If you look at this game, the Georgia Tech game, the Duke game, it was multiple games where we out-physicaled other teams. We put the paws on other teams in a way that's like, hey, we are not coming to mess around here. And I'll tell you what. I saw some people saying, oh, hang the banner. This is your best year ever. Listen, let me tell you something. This was a disappointing season. But you know what? Every now and then, you got to find a silver lining, even in the disappointment. And beating up on the Dirty Foot Club is always a silver lining. I have 8 going on 10 nephews and nieces. And half of them have not existed in a world where UNC has beaten NC State in football. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm all right with that. I'm okay with that. It fires me up. I hate these guys from a deep primal place. Yes. Like this is the hatred I have for them runs so deep. And it was good of them to show some fight after the game, wasn't it? When the flag was about to be planted. About time. They're a soft program with soft people, a soft head coach. It just oozes softness. And you want to know the funniest part about it? Getting rid of Mac won't change the problem. William was just a symptom of all that softness over there. He's not the problem. There'll always be a soft team with soft folks. That's who they've always been. Why should they expect anything different based on head coach? I don't know. But again, like I said earlier, the offensive line has shown up and shown out in a massive way in these last few games. And Hollywood smothers. Oh, my Lord. Hollywood, Raleighwood, don't care what you call them. Just call him for reservations for 6 because he's going to end up in that end zone one way or another. He's going to end up in that end zone one way or another. What a game, man. What a game. And the last thing I'll say, and I'll pass to you, Grayson. We talked about how we had some drop issues early in the game, how Noah Rogers struggles. I'm sorry, not Noah Rogers struggles, how C.J. Bailey's statistical struggles weren't really his struggles in terms of him throwing the ball poorly. We just had some drops. We just had some moments, some lapses in focus that cost us a little bit. But at the end of the game, I'll tell you what, it's a tale as old as time, isn't it, Grayson? A Wolfpack receiver mossing 2 Dirty Foot Club DBs to close that thing out. You know, I think back to Emeka Emezi, and I think to myself, this feels like this feels a lot like you can kill the man, but not the idea. Because every time you look up, there's going to be a big body Wolfpack receiver. And by the way, Joshua Adams, please know that on Monday, you will be wearing a Kenton Gibbs NC State jersey. Yes, former UNC player Josh Adams. Don't worry about it. I'll see you at work, buddy.
I'll start here. In honor of the best player that was on the field tonight, I'm going to Hollywood.
Hey,
Hollywood Smothers. How many times can we talk about this kid this year and what he brings to the table every single time that we lace him up? Every single time. And I had tweeted earlier in this game, and again, with all due respect here, I don't know how Jordan Waters gets the first handful of carries out of the gate, because the moment you bring in Hollywood, not only does he score on the first carry that he gets, but then he opens up the field through air and by ground. Every time this kid touches the ball, it's electricity. And he won the game for us tonight. Well, he had a large part in doing so, at least. I have watched this clip of Noah Rogers, not even like exaggerating, about 27 times since the final whistle. That catch alone, I know we don't wear stripes, but that catch was earning your stripes. That was earning your whatever, Wolfpack fangs, whatever you want to call it. That validated everything for Noah Rogers coming back home and being the prodigal son of wide receivers. Unbelievable catch with the game on the line. Unbelievable throw. Let's give CJ Bailey his credit as well. Unbelievable throw. And again, these are just the biggest moments I'm harping on before we get into the weeds here. What a win. What a win.
The gumption to make that throw. The gumption to make that throw from a freshman. Not being concerned about, hey, that's a safety that might be able to pick that ball off. Knowing, oh, stop it. He wears Dirty Foot Club blue. He's not going to make a good play with that ball, and dropping it right in the bucket. Oh, my God. What a time. What a group. And I'll tell you what, the biggest thing that I look at with this team is the resilience and the ability to fight back here. Now, going forward, and I want to make this clear, going forward, we obviously want to have better seasons. We obviously want to have better years. We obviously want to put together a more complete season. However, when you talk about beating the Dirty Foot Club, when you talk about beating those soft clowns that everything is always crying and whining in some way, you start off your, the National Signing Day presser talking about something from 3 weeks ago that the guy called you and chopped it up about. You're a special type of hoe, William. You're a special type of hoe. But I'm glad that you're leaving. I'm sad that you're leaving. I think you need to stay around in the program in some capacity. I think he needs to stay around. Again, it's just, and this team, I'll tell you what, we talked about the things that had happened throughout the season and how there weren't many injuries. But in this game, and in what we saw the last few weeks, our defense was extremely banged up, including a late hit that somehow was not called an unsportsmanlike conduct on Brandon Cisse that saw him get knocked out and concussed by a play that happened clearly after the whistle was blown. But again, for whatever reason, not unsportsmanlike conduct, no ejection there, whatever. You saw guys like Vic, who were not starters, who were not slated, hey, you're going to be the guy in this game, step up and make tremendous plays, i.e. the sack at the end of the game to put them in an untenable position where it was like, hey, if you thought you had any hope of maybe getting 1 or 2 more first downs, this will be, you got to do some pitchy woo-woo at this point because there's nothing else that will work for you. This team just continued to fight and continued to fight back. And again, it shows, like Peyton Wilson said, there is, those boys in baby blue, they have no culture. You want to talk about culture? Come to NC State because we have it. Noah Rogers showed what our culture is. Hey, you make mistakes, it's okay. Don't mope. Don't hang your head. I can't do it. Vic showed you our culture. I'm not the starter. Don't mope. Don't hang your head. Cisse and Aiden are always going to be the starter. They showed our culture. DK Kaufman showed us our culture. He's had multiple moments this year where he was on the Locked On Look of the Week in a negative way. But he showed our culture because he kept showing up and kept doing what he was supposed to do. And now look, he is literally a flag bearer for NC State. And by the way, those softies can get beat up in the game and in the parking lot. I don't know, not one UNC grad that can fight, but that's neither here nor there. So with that in mind, what a game, what a day. 35-30 to send that Bozo William into retirement.
I want to continue your point about culture because I think exactly what you just said about some of the players struggling early in the game and then making the game-changing moments later. That is NC State culture. That epitomizes it. However, I have to get to a very quick ad read. Our first live sponsor for our post-game Saturday night show is Gametime. If you are now suddenly in the market to see NC State play a bowl game, get on over to Gametime. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets for your favorite live events easier than ever before. Gametime Picks filters out all of the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, and you won't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The curation of Gametime Picks makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, you name it, they got it. Toggling their all-in pricing feature on the app will show your total upfront so you receive zero surprises at checkout. And as always, you get that panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect upon arrival. Take the guesswork out of buying bowl tickets for NC State football with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and again, create an account and use redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. What time is it? You already know. It's game time. All right, moving into the middle portion of our post-game Saturday night victory stream, 35-30 over UNC. What a win. And speaking to your point there about this culture, yes, we're 6-6. And yes, the season did not pan out anywhere close to where we hoped that it would. But when you can capitalize and you can win this game, and I know it's your Super Bowl, it's all y'all care about. I'll tell you what, it feels pretty damn good to win it. Every single year. That's now 4 in a row beating up on these guys. We're sending William into retirement, and it feels incredible. And that Wolfpack culture that Kenton was talking about right before I read that ad, Noah Rogers, earlier in the game, drops a couple crucial passes that would have gone for explosive plays, extending a drive, possibly getting more points on the board, taking some pressure off of both CJ and your defense. But who is it that comes knocking with the game on the line? Moss's 2 defenders, deep for an explosive play. Unbelievable catch for Noah Rogers. That's the type of catch we've kind of waited all season to see from him. What a stage for him to pull that thing down. That was unbelievable. I might go watch it 38 more times here after we're done with this postgame live. We already talked about Hollywood Smothers, dynamic playmaker. I want to harp just a little bit real quickly on Justin Jolie. I don't know how he only catches the ball. What was it, twice? I mean, everyone knows where we stand on that. I can't believe it's still happening here in week 12, but that is what it is. But I keep coming back to that culture, regardless of what went on this year and what did work, what didn't work, who is playing well, who's not playing well. When you can fight to the bitter end and find a way to win this game, that's that culture. That is what you spend so long in the offseason building in that locker room, building the camaraderie with the coaching staff and the new guys and the high school recruits and the transfers. It all amounts to wins like this one. Your culture wins you games like this one. And even when we had some moments in this game where it looked like we were going to give it away, you fought and you fought and you fought, and it was enough finally to walk away with the win. Excellent win. And again, for all the people out there to say, well, it's just Carolina, we're 6-6. We get all that. We get all that. This doesn't cure what went wrong this season. It doesn't mean the program is magically in a new place, but this is a hell of a win for a team that desperately needed one. You give away the game in Atlanta. You're 5-6. You're struggling to get to bowl eligibility. You needed to find a way to win a game like this one, and they got it done. I'm very proud of the team tonight. You're muted.
Thank you so much for letting me know, Grayson. Hey, don't worry, everybody. If your leftovers are getting a little dry there, just use this Lewis Moore character's tears to get them a little bit moistened, and it'll add some flavor.
No.
They appear to be very salty.
We got a hater in the chat.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But we love you, even though you're here from the Dirty Foot Club. You tell those boys over there that thanks for the dub. Thanks for the dub before that. Thanks for the dub before that one. And thanks for the dub even before that one. Fun fact, this is one of the most even rivalries in all of college football, unless you're going back to when helmets were soft and people that look like me wouldn't have been allowed into either one of these colleges. Isn't that fun? Maybe we could stick to after the advent of like dial-up internet or something. Who knows, Grayson? But in other news, the reality of this game is this was a great game, and I'm going to tell you something. Everybody keeps talking about Davin Vann in the chat. I want to make something clear. Davin Vann has been so constant. He has had a record-breaking year. Most forced fumbles in the history of NC State in a single season with 6. Not only that, he's tied for the third most forced fumbles in a season ever for an ACC player, ever, with 6. The only 2 players that had more were Harold Landry and Cody Grimm. That's all. That's it. Davin Vann is a one-man wrecking crew. And you know he's a one-man wrecking crew because I specifically said when I talked about why we were rushing 3 and 4 at the end of last game, you need to bring more unless Davin Vann is on the field, because he is what I like to call a math changer. He's the type of guy that normally you can say, okay, we'll go 1 for 1. That's a stalemate. We're all right. A guy like Davin Vann, you need to account an additional body or 2 going to him, or your offensive game plan is going to get wrecked, ladies and gentlemen. So I look at that situation and I say, Davin Vann forcing fumbles, that's Davin Vann doing Davin Vann things. It's old hat. But I don't want it to go unrecognized because it is so consistent. I don't want his excellent play to go as a thing of, oh, well, it's just a thing. I'm going to tell you something. He got one really faulty penalty called against him for a delay of game or something like that.
Yeah, what in the world?
Yeah, and not even because he simulated a snap or anything like that, because he himself, who was going on a stunt, thought the ball was moving and did not cross the line of scrimmage, just moved laterally. And that was a penalty. Interesting. Very interesting penalty, especially with what we saw with Georgia Tech, where there were multiple times with linebackers doing the full arm wave and guys spreading apart. But it is what it is. Now, with that being said, again, immediately after that play, do you remember what the next play was, Grace?
After we recovered the fumble?
No. After Davin Vann was called for the phantom offside, do you remember what the next play was?
Oh, I think it was a sack, wasn't it? Or
it was
a TFL?
TFL by Davin Vann. That's the type of guy that he is, man. That's the type of guy that he is. He just shows up and chops away consistently. And I'll tell you what, again, losing to UNC does not make this season now perfect. But I'll be damned. Oh, I'm sorry. Beating UNC does not make this year perfect. But I'll be damned if you say it doesn't help more than losing to UNC, not getting bowl eligibility, and letting them carry off that decrepit old man known as William Brown. Again, I do not like those guys. I do not like anything about those guys. I do not like, there's not a single thing when everybody does that, oh, say something nice about your rival thing.
I'll sit that one out.
Yeah, I'll pass. Hey, I'm good. I treat that a lot like I treat stuffing or dressing or whatever you call it at Thanksgiving. I'm good. All set here. So in all seriousness, what a game, what a time. I'm excited to see what bowl game they go to. I mean, again, the year was not perfect, but you cannot take away anything from this game. You cannot take away from the resilience of this game. You cannot take away from the ability to just maul people that there was in this game, right? We saw some of the things that reared their head that we saw all year. Bad run fit by a certain player who, hey, happy trails, brother. More power to you. But we saw certain things happen in this game that have been happening all year. But another thing that we saw was, hey, this team is a team that is now establishing identity. And I know, why do we have to wait till the bottom or the last quarter of the season to establish identity? I get it, but better late than never. Hell, better late than never. We're a team that can run the ball at a high clip now, and we can throw the ball off of that. And CJ's willing to take those deep shots. He's willing to take those shots where it's like, hey, put a 50-50 ball up in the air because it happened.
The pinball that was going a zillion miles an hour in my brain has started to slow down, so perhaps I can be a little bit more clerical in some of my comments here. There was a lot of good in this game. There's also a lot of bad in this game, and I want to talk specifically about the bad in the offense. We've talked about Robert and I this season and the lack of offensive production. I think everything that we've said up until this point, in that I don't know how you can bring him back, that, in my mind, it was only really validated tonight. And I know we ended up winning the game. We ended up running for 220 on the ground. We got it done in the end using the offense. But I think the point remains, man, the offense is just so inept. It is just such a complete, unmitigated disaster when you're looking at some of the drives in this game. And a lot of the points you left on the board, I was really hoping near the end there that we could have just punched it in the end zone and not have to wait back on defense and win the game yet again. I mean, there's too many instances, not just in this game, but over the course of the whole season. And it only just gets re-highlighted by horrible play calling in this game and execution to some degree. But I also want to talk a little bit about I want to talk a little bit. I'm frazzled. I want to talk a little bit about the offensive line, because this is yet another game where we run for over 200 yards on the ground. Believe it or not, this is the same team that couldn't find a way to run well against Western Carolina or Louisiana Tech or NIU for that matter. You do find a way here at the end of this season. I think what's this back-to-back weeks, if not 3 in a row, of over 200 yards on the ground. Yeah. Spectacular. The offensive line, you know what it is we had a couple bye weeks. That's what it is. We had a couple bye weeks. You reset. Now all of a sudden you can run the ball, because we saw the exact same thing happen last year for NC State. But credit to the O-line. We were very critical in the early stages of this year. As we got later into it, they've gotten better in the run game. You start to finally establish a little bit of that identity. I don't think it's a complete identity, but you saw at least a little bit of a semblance of it here at the end of the game. Smothers just getting basically whatever he wanted. CJ Bailey, and I tweeted this from the account, I don't love how often that he either is designed to run or has to run because of a scramble, but his tenacity as a runner, it kind of, as that has grown as well. I'm proud of the kid, man. I'm so proud of the kid. Knowing that there really is no other option but besides him at quarterback, he's not afraid to go get that 5 yards or get out of the pocket, see what he can make happen. A couple tough sacks where he really had nowhere to go and just runs right into the defender anyway. Tough kid. And I think that also, it speaks to that culture that he's not afraid. He's just a freshman, and he's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid to lead this team on the road against the Dirty Foot Club and get it done in the end. So, I mean, the offensive problems are definitely still an issue. I would not be surprised if you see some administrative changes here in the next couple of weeks. If it does happen that fast, I'd be shocked if there were no changes made. I think that'll probably stir up a lot more conversation on that matter, but it was good enough tonight. It was good enough tonight. You find a way to run for you run for 220 yards on the nose, on the ground, 2 touchdowns, both from Hollywood. Yeah. Believe it or not, we also threw for 242 through the air. I would have told you were crazy if you told me that like 15 minutes ago, because it felt like all told we had maybe like 100 yards, but found a way to be balanced. 242 through the air, 220 on the ground, 35 total points. And one more point, I'll hand it back to you, Kenton. Another thing that I talked about last week against Georgia Tech, we score 7 points in the first half, can't do anything, and then boom, we explode for 22 or however many it is in the fourth quarter. I don't know why that's still a thing. I don't know why it takes us to be faced with that adversity, to have your back against the wall. Now, all of a sudden, we're able to move the ball and put points on the board. That drives me absolutely insane. And so I hope that's a change that you look at moving into next year. Yeah, we shouldn't have to struggle for 3.5 quarters before all of a sudden, we can just run the ball with Hollywood Smothers. We can just find Justin Jolie open for 35 yards. Like in the fourth quarter, gang, like this is what we're doing. It takes you that long to figure that out. I've had enough of that. So that's my biggest gripe in this game. I mean, respectfully, I'm sorry. Like Robert and I'm sorry, man. I think the time is up here at NC State, because we cannot afford another season of struggle in that capacity. So it got it done tonight, but I mean, yeah, you get what I'm putting down here.
My whole thing about the Anai situation was, it is what it is. And I believe that he could have saved his job with like 2 outstanding banner games, like 50-point performance type of games, to where like, hey, that's an extremely high bar. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that, but you earned having that high of a bar by not, you earned having to have that high of a bar by not showing up multiple times earlier this season. The 2-point conversion play, complete and utter, like that was, it was just.
I did exactly this.
It was literally one of those moments where it's just like, we're rushing for how many yards per carry? A 2-point conversion is how many yards? Yeah, let's I don't know. Let's give it to Hollywood. See what happens. I don't know. He did a pretty good job during the game. Let's give it to him and see what happens there. And again, man, this is just, a game in which I have to shout out the young guys for stepping up once again, because, we saw a situation where we had injuries all over the place, where we had all of these things going on, where it's dependent on the young guys. We came into the season thinking we were going to get a 5th-year, multiple-time player of the year quarterback. We end up with a true freshman. We came into the year thinking, hey, we're going to have a deeply experienced secondary that's played a ton of ball and all that good stuff. We ended up playing with guys who that was just not the case. That was just not the case at all. We came into the season knowing our linebacking core was going to be young and going to be, unexperienced. Yeah. They did enough. Were they perfect? No. But to stop Omarion Hampton, you have to be some type of good, because they will run that man till the wheels fall off over there in Dirty Foot Land, because that's what they do. I mean, he's it for them. So with that in mind, again, this game feels like a microcosm of the season. It was not perfect. Things didn't always go right. The only thing I'll say is a difference between this game and the season overall is we came out on top. Because overall, so far this season, in games like this, we found ways to get that can't get right-itis. But I'll be all right. I'll be all right if we win this one. And first of all, always a great day to beat the Dirty Foot Club. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it is checkers. I don't care if it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I don't care if it's a staring competition. I don't care if we're playing the quiet game. Anytime you can beat one of those bozos that wears a dirty foot on the side of their helmet, you're doing something right. And then moving on from there, if you can go ahead and get a bowl game win as well to build into a positive offseason, because I believe there will be turnover. I will just say that much. I would be surprised if there was not some turnover on the staff and with the roster to some degree. So with that being said, I don't at all mind going into this offseason with some positive momentum, because again, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. Grace and I talked about, there are multiple big-time recruits that if you go ahead and have a winning season, you'll pull in their favor. It didn't work out for us. We saw where all the big-time recruits went or are going. Things didn't work out the way we wanted to. However, you can't cry over spilled milk. What happened, happened. All you can do is move forward in the right direction. And this win over the Dirty Foot Club, putting William out of his misery in this way, I just love that we got so many of their greats. I believe that's their top 2 all-time leading passers and their all-time leading rusher and their all-time winningest coach. All of those dorks got a loss to NC State as their last game in the regular season. That feels good. That warms my heart. That makes me so happy, Grayson. That makes me, and it's indescribable how happy it makes me to know, again, your winningest coach of all time. His last game was a what? L to NC State. Your quarterback who threw for more touchdowns, more yards than anybody. The top 2 guys. Oh, L to NC State. And now we add in your precious running back. 6 feet, 220 pounds of nightmare fuel for defensive coordinators. Well, Tony Gibson said, "Don't wake me, I'm dreaming." Because we come out with yet another W against those losers. Hey, what a time to be alive. What a time to be a Wolfpack.
I hate to kill the momentum with an ad read, but unfortunately I got to pay the bills here. Our second post-game live ad is brought to you by FanDuel. Tackle NFL action or even some bowl season action coming up with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in just one singular place. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the very same page that you're placing all of your bets. Head on over to FanDuel.com in order to join today. You'll get started with that $150 in bonus bets if that first pesky $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com in order to get started. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, last couple minutes here. We'll give you our post-parting thoughts, I guess I should say, before, hey, gang, we got to get out here and celebrate. We just beat the Dirty Foot Club. How many times in a row, Kenton? How many times? Four? Four of them things.
Give me a
I tell you what,
please.
It never doesn't feel incredible. 35-30 over UNC in the final game of the regular season. The Pack are now 6-6. They are headed to a bowl game, and I think that's where I want to begin kind of my final thoughts here. You do make it to a bowl game. It's going to be a mediocre bowl. It kind of is what it is. You're 6-6. But we've talked a lot about kind of in the middle parts of the season where you're questioning what does this team have left to play for other than themselves and other than just repetition. A bowl game, I think for this team in this situation, it can prove to be very valuable. If you use it correctly, it can be a springboard into 2025. We have a lot of young talent still that you're going to need to figure out what is prioritized in the offseason. That I think starts not only probably like tomorrow, if not tonight already, but like tomorrow, then all of your bowl prep, then the bowl game itself. And keep in mind, folks, the portal opens up in like a week, I think. It's like I think it's like less than 10 days. So portal season is coming, okay? So you keep that in mind. You keep in mind what we saw tonight. You already know where the priorities are. CJ Bailey, priority. Hollywood Smothers. Hollywood, he might be number one. Like I don't even think that's an exaggeration. Hollywood Smothers might be like off-season priority number one. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
Pay the man. Pay the man.
I would bring Struck the kid just about because he is that valuable to what we saw this year. Okay, I got off track. Sorry, I'm riled up as we all should be. This bowl game, I want to see guys like Jonathan Paylor and Elijah Groves and guys like Kamal Bonner, even though he's been playing this year, the younger guys that you want to figure out what you have, what you can build on throughout the course of the offseason. That's why getting to a bowl game is important. Whether it feels important or not, it is important for this team to figure out what kind of team you can be next year, how you pick up the pieces from what is a failure of a year. Let's be frank, it is. But you can't let that beat you twice. We say that a lot. You can't let one loss turn into two losses. You can't let one bad season turn into two bad seasons. So use this as momentum. Use this to figure out, can Noah Rogers be the guy next year? Can he be the star? Can Hollywood Smothers be the guy? CJ Bailey, fill in the blank, whoever it is. I'm excited to figure out the answers to all of those questions. I think the coaching staff questions, we all probably have a decent idea of what we're going to see over the course of the next month, month and a half. But I'm excited for the players on this team to play one more game together, get more practices, more repetitions, more chemistry building with each other. That part is very important. But yeah, I mean, you can't help but feel incredible beating up on these guys just one more time. Even in a down year, you still find a way to show them who Big Brother is. They wear red. 35-30. Great win tonight.
I very selfishly am rooting for the Quick Lane Bowl. Hey, call me what you want.
Homecoming for Kenton Gibbs.
Call me what you want. Yeah, hey, I'll be home at Christmas anyway. It'd be a great time. But in all seriousness, I look at this thing and I say something really, really, really flat here. Hey, Shakeen and Josh, how's it feel over there? Feel good over there? You too?
Hate to see it.
So, feel good.
Hate to see it.
Does it feel amazing getting 35 put on your head in this game? I believe the announcers were talking about what a wonderful night Josh Harris was having all night. And yet it still wasn't enough. I hate that for you. I'm so sad for you. I don't think that people understand this. I truly hate these guys. Don't get me wrong. I love the Wolfpack. I hate these guys just about as much as I love the Wolfpack. So when I see guys who the amount that somebody would have to pay me to like cover UNC positively, like the amount somebody have to pay me to do that is so outlandish. It's a number that, ESPN would have to come down the docket calling for me to do that. And even then, I would issue many, many apologies. And I would be Locked On Wolfpack silent benefactor, making sure that Grayson has enough money to fly to every game like he's a member of the team. You understand?
Well, hold on now. We might have a deal.
So I'm just saying. So to see people say, "Oh, this is your Super Bowl." No, it's not. It is you beating someone that you hate. That's what it is. In the words of Kendrick Lamar, it's not about love and hate. It's all about hate. And I'm the biggest hater. I'm the biggest. That is what this is. Yeah, we hate those guys. So yes, it feels great. Even if our season didn't go the way we wanted to, I know those bozos as copium are going to be screaming, "Oh, this is they're going to hang a banner." Well, if we hung a banner for every time we beat you, dorks, we'd be out of space in the Carter by now. We'd be out. But we don't, because you all are just a team that we happen to hate a lot. And so, what a game. What a time. And again, I've got 8 going on 10 nephews and nieces, and half of them have never seen a world where at the end of that football game, be it in the Carter, be it in Carter Finley West, also known as Keenan, or whatever you want to call it, the half-empty stadium, whatever you want to call it, there's always more for the Wolfpack than it is the Dirty Foot Club. And that, my friends, is what I'm going to leave y'all with, because, damn it, I'm geeked up. I saw somebody in the chat talk about they drunk. I'm going to be right behind you, brother. Me and Grayson are going to be right there behind you. Because guess what? You'll always hear me saying I'll drink to that when it comes to beating the Dirty Foot Club.
Listen, if you see us out painting the town red tonight, first of all, no, you didn't. But if you actually do, say, hey, give us the Go Pack. We're going to give it back to you. I'll tell you something else is one of my favorite things about a night like this one, when you beat these guys. I get text messages from friends like all over the place that have nothing to do with this game or this rivalry, friends that are fans of Pittsburgh or Arizona or whatever. And they're like, Go Pack. Yeah, you guys did it again. That's just like the cherry on top. That the rest of the country can see how badly NC State wants this game. Yeah. How bad the Wolves want to beat the Heels in a game like this one. Sorry, the Dirty Foot Club in a game like this one. It's just so much sweeter every single time.
Couldn't beat us at our worst. Don't worry about it. When we get better, when we are playing our best ball, when our seniors are showing up as seniors, oh boy, hey, more power to you. Leave Mac on an advisory role. Put him on the board or something like that. I think let him pick the next head coach. I think he's done a fine job over there.
Yeah. Sorry. Williams' retirement party is painted red. 35-30. NC State picks up the win to cap off the end of the regular season. 6-6. We're going to a bowl. I feel like I should apologize for how frazzled I was this evening. My mind is all over the place, as it often is after we play these guys. Excellent win. Much more to talk about on Monday's show. More, I guess, actual analysis, because this was kind of just a celebratory, whatever you want to call it. But hey, can you blame us? 4 in a row. This feels great. A lot to talk about over the course of Monday and into next week. We will see you all then. Thank you all so much for joining us after every single one of these post-game lives. I'll tell you real quickly, one thing I hate the most about football season coming to a close is the lack of post-game lives we get to do from there on out. I feel like we should do more for basketball, just because I love getting on here and chopping it up with y'all in the chat. It's one of my favorite things to do. So again, thank you all so much for joining us as always. Be sure to hit that like button, drop all of your comments, blow up the comment section with some GTHCs, if you know what I'm saying. Hit that subscribe button. We will see you all right back here on Monday for more talk about a big win of the Dirty Foot Club. Until then, paint the town red. Go Pack.
Go Pack. Bye, Mr. William Mac Brown.